V. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you so know it, and so do I. It does not matter who the host is. Anyways, today is Thursday, September the 8th of 2022. Aren't people referring to this already as the Disney Plus Day or something like that? Anyways, it's day 251 of the year and only 114 days left to go. So anyways, how are you doing on this fantastic Tuesday? Oh yes, because it's been Thursday. I can't even get my day straight. Anyways, this fantastic Thursday with everything that's going on inside of the world. Anyways, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. And then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place that we do stuff at.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
So let's start talking, let's start doing, let's start grooving, because it's going to be important, because we need to talk about what was happening.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so if you were taking a look-see around yesterday, I don't think there was any way possible of you not hearing about this, but hashtag Apple event landed on Twitter's top 10 trends on Wednesday after the iPhone Series 14 was announced. We can talk a little bit more about that if you care to do so. Also, hashtag DQ Pillow Sweepstakes was trending yesterday as Twitter users tweeted for their chance to win 3 Blizzard treat scented pillows. Now, listen, don't get me wrong. I probably like his Blizzards as much as the next person, but I don't think I need a scented pillow of a Blizzard because, I mean, that's just going to probably get some things being sticky icky in regards of what I'm probably going to want to do for the rest of the day. Just saying, because until I get the Dairy Queen fix, it might make it a little bit difficult for me. Anyways, outside of that, what else was making the rounds? The Obamas were trending on Wednesday as they visited the White House for their official portrait. So there you go. So we can talk a little bit more about that if you care to do so. Anyways, if you want to interact with the show, it's a simple process in doing so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. And what that will do is a simple little thing that happens right there. It gets you into the forum. And once you get into the forum, you have all kinds of different things that you can do inside of there. What do I mean by that? Well, it allows you to do the video calling. It can allow you to do the audio calling or just the messaging, which seems to be that people seem to be a little bit more successful with just the messaging in regards of how we have everything set up around here. But that's just for information purposes. So now you know, I know, and then we move forward from there. So let's see. So that's the interaction portion of the show. The other side is, if you're not familiar with what we do around here, we talk about safety in the news and safety. We bring in some professional broadcasters that tell us about what the hell is going on inside of this world. And then I come back and I talk to you a little bit about the things that I see and how they're happening. And then we kind of bow it up and go from there. That's pretty much it. That's the show. That kind of sums up everything that we do. Now, if you are a frequent listener, I know you probably get tired of hearing about that jargon, but I will tell you the amount of people that contact me of going, is this the safety show? Is this the show that talks about, yes, we talk about it, but it's not the only thing that we talk about. There's a lot of things that are going on in the world, so that's why we talk about a little bit about everything that's going on. Anyways, with that being said, I think, therefore I am. Is that how the song goes? Maybe it is time to start talking about the things that are going on in the news. If you're ready for that, I think that I'm ready for it because we can possibly do that right now. So let's get you into the news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Trey Thomas. 4 people are dead and 3 wounded in Memphis tonight after a teenager went on a shooting spree. There are 4 different crime scene locations after 19-year-old Ezekiel Kelly started randomly shooting at people and live streaming it on Facebook. Kelly reportedly carjacked 3 vehicles during the spree and had a warrant out for first-degree murder in February 2020 that was issued Wednesday morning. President Biden is slated to speak about Omicron-specific COVID-19 booster shots on Thursday. White House officials say the new shot protects against severe infection and transmission. It's also expected to be available to 90% of Americans ages 12 and older by the end of the week. A booster for young children is still in development. The second suspect in the recent stabbing attacks in Canada is dead after a 4-day manhunt. Mark Mayfield has the story.
On Wednesday, police in Saskatchewan made the announcement about Miles Sanderson shortly after he was taken into custody. His car was run off the road by police, and he later died at a hospital of self-inflicted wounds. Sanderson and his brother Damien were the 2 people of interest after 10 people were killed and more than a dozen others were injured on Sunday. Damien was found dead on Monday. I'm Mark Mayfield.
A Michigan judge is striking down an anti-abortion law from 1931. The law makes it a crime to perform abortions in the state unless the life of the mother is in danger. The law had been long dormant before the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. Judge Elizabeth Gleicher ruled it violates the Michigan Constitution. On Wednesday, the law was struck down. You're listening to NBC News Radio.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
From Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. The second suspect in a series of stabbings in Canada, which killed 10 people, has died. The Chinese city of Chengdu's extended its lockdown as it battles a rising spread of COVID-19. The UK government's setting out its plan to support households and businesses as energy prices soar, and UK scientists say a new vaccine could reduce global deaths from malaria by 70% by the end of the decade.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Top health officials are pleased with the progress against the monkeypox outbreak. Mark Mayfield fills us in.
Speaking to reporters, monkeypox coordinator Bob Fenton said the strategy of targeting the most at-risk communities with vaccines is working. Fenton's top deputy, Dr. Dimitri Daskalakis, cited strong progress in getting shots in arms. The monkeypox virus is thought to be transmitted through direct physical contact and has been primarily affecting gay and bisexual men.
Major League Baseball's Players Union is joining the nation's largest labor federation. The MLBPA is now a member of the AFL-CIO. MLB's union currently has about 1,200 members, but recently announced plans to add 5,400 minor league players. Players Union Executive Director Tony Clark said they look forward to bringing their unity as a more formal part of the movement. Apple is announcing a bunch of new products. Lisa Taylor has details.
The iPhone 14 and 14 Pro both boast improved battery life and ceramic screens that are more durable than previous models. The tech giant also announced its new Apple Watch Series 8 model with 4 different colors. It said the Apple Watch SE starts at $249 and the Apple Watch Ultra starts at $800. Meantime, Apple unveiled its new AirPods Pro that features noise cancellation.
The last of 4,000 beagles rescued from a facility in Virginia are being taken to animal shelters. 100 hopeful pups were flown into Maine this week with the hopes of finding their forever homes. The dogs were among thousands rescued from a facility that intended to sell them to animal testing labs, but were taken away after authorities found them living in inhumane conditions. This marks the end of one of the largest canine rescue missions in U.S. history. You're listening to NBC News Radio.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
What happened to Philip K. Dick from February to March 1974 would change him forever. For the next 8 years, he attempted to explain in writing his experience of the entire universe transformed into information. Enter the letters, dreams, and journal entries of the mind behind Blade Runner and A Scanner Darkly. Learn the genesis of the Valis trilogy and the stories behind other classic Dick novels. Houghton Mifflin Harcourt is proud to present The Exegesis of Philip K. Dick, edited by Pamela Jackson and Jonathan Lethem. Experience the ultimate quest into a cosmic mystery like no other. Touch genius.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
The Work Y Summit is an interactive 2-day gathering that will bring like-hearted leaders together like never before as we discuss ways to better align HR, safety, and operations around one common goal: creating the future of work together. Day 1 will focus on self-performance with talks with leading experts on how to live and lead at our best. Day 2 will focus on organizational performance with discussions on what we can do together to break down silos and foster action. The Work Summit will take place at Coker Tire Museum in Chattanooga, Tennessee on Thursday, September the 22nd and Friday, September the 23rd. For more information, go to worksbees.com/Y Summits. That's WORKZBE.com Y Summit.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, there you go. We're hanging and banging on this lovely Thursday. Currently 15 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are doing our thing as we get to hang out. You know, some people refer to this day as Friday Junior, which I don't ever understand, but hey, I guess to each their own. Anyways, let's start taking into the list of what the hell is going on inside of the world. The judge presiding over the case that will determine whether Elon Musk will be forced to make a good on his offer to buy Twitter has ruled that he can include whistleblower claims about the platform's security practices in his countersuit. However, the addition of these claims can't be used to stall the start of the trial, which is scheduled for next month. Musk and his teams are arguing that the accusation leveled by former security chief would leave Twitter in breach of its agreement with Musk, and make the buyout offer totally invalid. Yeah, totally invalid. So I don't know. It seems like this is gonna be an ongoing thing. We still at least have a month before we start getting into the move and groove of what the trial is going to look like. And I don't know. Are you a big Twitter user? Like, are you a Twitterverser? I mean, Have you twatched today? I mean, it's something to think about if it's something that's big to you. So there you go. Anyways, remember Elizabeth Holmes? Yeah, the Toronto's founder who got billions of dollars in investment money on bogus claims about her blood testing technology. Well, she is now requesting a new trial after a key prosecution witness has said that he regrets the role he played in the conviction for fraud and conspiracy. That witness is Adam Rosendorf, who was the lab director at Theranos. Holmes' team asserts that in the new filing that Rosendorf tried to speak with Holmes on August the 8th at her private residence. NPR reports that before he could be escorted off the premises, he said that he tried to answer the questions honestly, but that the prosecutors tried to make everyone look bad and that his testimony made him feel like he had done something wrong. Rosendorf also reported that he is trying to make contact with Holmes via her lawyer. No word yet on what's next, but Holmes' lawyers requested an October the 3rd hearing about the accident, or incident in this case. So what do you think? I mean, this one's going to be an interesting one. There is no doubt about that when you start putting this into some commotion and things to think about, because this one right here, it was outrageous the amount of investment that she had received for a tech that did not work. There's several documentaries online to be able to watch, and I think even Hulu has a full show, dramatized in regards on how they set some of that stuff up. So it'll be interesting to see what's going on there.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Anyways, a Washington Post study looked at a major college graduate regrets the most, and nearly 48 of the respondents said with humanities, respondents were humanities or arts degrees that said that they wish they would have picked something different in regards of studies. So there you go. On the low end, engineers are the most content with their degree choices, but still nearly 1 in 4 wish that they would have done something different degree path. So for what it's worth, the more money you earn, the less likely you regret your degree choices. So there's something to think about as we are talking. So with this being said, let me mention this real quick, because even though they said it before, let's talk about this, you and I. Apple announced new features yesterday is coming to the iPhone 14, an emergency satellite communication feature when you're not in a regularly covered data area. So what does that mean? That means for SOS purposes, emergency needs, you will be able to actually lock on to a satellite. When the feature is activated, the screen will guide you to point your phone at the sky towards the nearest satellite. While you won't be able to make calls or send texts, your location and information about an emergency will be relayed to nearby emergency services. This feature is going to be free on capable iPhones for the next 2 years. So my question becomes is, if it's free for the next 2 years, what's the fee after the 2 years? And is it part of the Apple One program? And if you don't know what the Apple One program is, that's kind of a bundle of a lot of services that Apple sells under one house. So there you go. By the way, Apple also introduced upgrades to the Watch and the AirPods Pro, which have now double the canceling sounds that they did previously. So that's something, if you're interested in that, I guess that's something that you can take a look into if you're so inclined to do so. So there you go. Anyways, Netflix has agreed to settle a lawsuit by Soviet chess master Nona, and I'm going to butcher her last name, Grafadashvili, I don't even know how to say it, who allegedly she was defamed in the Queen's Gambit when she was a chess announcer in the show, and said that she had never faced men in competitive play. In real life, she actually has played 59 matches against men since 1968, when the scene in question took place on the show. So there you go. Netflix has tried to scrap the case with First Amendment liberties, but the judge says the free speech doesn't protect defamation of real people. Terms of the settlement have not been disclosed. What I have to say about it is this. So if you're going to put some show out there, I mean, why don't you just do the inspired by true events? And a lot of the stuff that we're talking about here could potentially be some bullshit. I mean, maybe that's some stuff that you should talk about when you are making a show or something along those lines.
It's this show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so there you go. There's that right there. Anyways, with that being said, I think it is time to bring in some John Smalls and let him tell us about what is going on inside of the world of the market.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Thursday, September 8th, 2022. Equity markets rebounded 2% on Wednesday despite a souring outlook for economic growth. The Fed's Beige Book was released and confirmed economic activity was little changed from the prior reading, and the outlook for growth was dim. The news comes in contrast to the ISM Service Index release on Monday, which suggests an acceleration in service sector at least. The takeaway from the two reports, however, is that conditions are still in favor of aggressive FOMC policy action. Consumer-level inflation may have tamed on a month-to-month basis, but is still expected to have run at a high mid-single-digit rate versus last year. The biggest risk for the market for the remainder of the week is Fed speak. There are a number of Fed members slated to make public remarks, and that may include hawkish commentary. The bottom line for traders, the Wednesday rebound is nothing more than a relief rally within the latest downdraft, and it's not one that is expected to last too long. You could get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, John Smalls, for that information right there. You keep the world moving with the data that you provide, that is for sure. Anyways, the Dow was up about 435 points to close at 31,581 on Wednesday. The S&P added about 71 points to close at 3,979, while the NASDAQ added about 246 points to close at 11,791. Oil prices tumbled on Wednesday as West Texas Intermediate fell to $81, and Brent crude was down to just about $87 a barrel. The national average of a price of gas per gallon was $3.76 on Wednesday, and Bitcoining picked up, yes, Bitcoining is what I said, picked up about $400 on Wednesday, trading just north of 19,264. There was 2,165 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Wednesday, and about 211 cancellations. So there you go. A lot of cancellations going on, it seems like, as we are talking. Anyways, let's talk a little bit more in honor of the National Beer Day yesterday. Check out some beer chugging broad who showered off her talents at one of the U.S. Opens. A side-by-side video is available online of her chugging at the U.S. Open. And she can down a whole beer. I think it's about 7 seconds, and the videos are a few years apart of her doing it. That was the popular thing on the charts yesterday that you could find online. Anyways, currently 24 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out and talking about some of the things that are going on inside of this lovely, lovely world of ours. So let's get into some more news and information real quick. So take a listen to this. Fairview fire doubles in size over the 6 hours. Hemet, California. The Fairview fire in Hermit has now burned more than 19,000 acres of land. Cal Fire's Marco Rodriguez says that the fire's behavior is unpredictable right now. Isn't all fire behavior unpredictable?
The wind continues to shift and evacuation orders continue to expand. This fire has a lot of fuel to burn through, and it's going to be challenging to get ahead of it, but we're doing our best.
Okay, the fire has more than doubled in size in 6 hour period from Wednesday afternoon. Containment remains at 5%, and the authorities have expanded the evacuation orders and warnings. The Riverside County Sheriff's Department says the majority of the residents are ignoring those orders. However, out and about 3,700 homes have been notified. Only a quarter of the residents have actually left. So there you go. Some interesting things going on right there as we are talking. In regards to talking about California, California is still feeling the effects of a dangerous heat wave that's putting a strain on the state's power grid. Trey Thomas has more information.
Governor Gavin Newsom says emergency alerts that went out urging residents to limit their electricity use to avoid rolling blackouts helped.
Those text messages went out. People reduced energy, and they got us through.
High temperatures are being felt throughout the West as more than 57 million people in over a dozen states are under alerts for excessive heat. I'm Trey Thomas.
Okay, thank you, Trey, for that information right there. Take a listen to this real quick. Detroit Police Chief James White, part of his Wednesday handing out gun locks as he walked into a group of people in the city and spoke about other gun safety.
So we can pass them out all day long, but you got to take that 30 seconds, 45 seconds to secure your weapon. Guns get us in more trouble than they get us out of. If you've got a weapon, you have a tremendous responsibility to make sure that it's secured properly.
He says that over 50 kids have been killed or hurt with guns so far this year in the city. While he says that there have been under 100 fewer non-deadly shootings in Detroit than last year, but he says that the number means nothing when someone has lost a loved one or a kid has hurt. The Detroit Police Chief James White says that guns need to be secured.
When you have 100 non-fatal shootings, less than you did the year before, that doesn't help when you have a child hurt or you have a citizen who's lost a loved one. Those numbers mean nothing.
Okay, so there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there as we are talking. Anyways, a new study shows a rise in cancer in adults younger than the age of 50. Trey Thomas has more details.
Researchers at the Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston say there's been a dramatic rise in breast, colon, esophagus, kidney, liver, and pancreas cancers since the 1990s. The study found the rising incidence of early onset cancers can be partially attributed to early screenings for cancer, though early life exposures such as people's diet, weight, lifestyle, and environment may be a contributing factor. I'm Trey Thomas.
Okay, there you go. Some information there. So that will be an interesting one to talk about as we are moving forward. Because let's think about it. I mean, the diet is going to play a big factor, and definitely weight management will be another thing. Take a listen to this. A Virginia restaurant manager is apologizing after a lot of backlash over a 9/11 special menu that used elements of the terrorist attack to name the menu. Take a listen to what Trey Thomas has to say.
The online menu that's been taken down included Pentagon Pie, Flight 93 Redirect Crab Dip, and a Remember Teeny. The manager at the clubhouse in Manassas posted an apology on Facebook, writing that his intention was to bring attention to that horrific day 21 years ago, to honor those who lost so much, as well as those who gave everything that day. I'm Trey Thomas.
I don't know. That's kind of a mixed bag there in regards of what we're talking about, because here's what you have to start thinking about. You are going to call something that, and people are hypersensitive when it comes to that subject matter, and I get it. So let's not play it down. But man, that is some braveness in regards of talking about some of that stuff as we are moving and grooving. Anyways, let's talk about this real quick. A 19-year-old Ezekiel Kelly is in custody after allegedly going on a shooting spree around Memphis on Wednesday. Memphis Police Chief C.J. Davis confirms that 4 people are dead and 3 more are injured after a rampage that ended in a high-speed pursuit.
2 weapons were visible inside the vehicle where Kelly was. The Homicide Division and other investigative units are actively working these crime scenes now, and numerous felony charges are pending.
Police say that Kelly's first shooting happened early Wednesday morning, leaving 24-year-old man dead. The shooting spree began around 4:30 local time, resulting in seven total people shot in 2 carjackings in one day. He posted a live video of himself pointing guns and shooting at people on Facebook and Instagram throughout the evening. Police used the citywide alert after being made aware of the videos and pursued the suspect for hours until he was arrested around 9:30. Kelly had an active warrant for his arrest and first-degree murder issued on Wednesday. Shelby County Sheriff Floyd Bonner Jr. Gives his condolences to the families of the victims on Wednesday about the shooting in Memphis.
Many families were shattered tonight. Many families will never, ever get over the horrific violence that we saw that one individual inflicted on this city tonight.
Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland says Ezekiel Kelly was sentenced for 3 years in prison for multiple charges stemming from an arrest in 2020, but served just 11 months and was released in March earlier this year.
These evil actions show why truth in sentencing is a must, and we should do all we can to make our city safe.
Strickland expresses his feelings for the victims and their families and the people in Memphis about the shootings.
I am angry for them, and I'm angry for our citizens who had to shelter in place for their own safety until this suspect was caught.
Shelby County's district attorney says it has been a terrible week for the city of Memphis after the death of Alyssa Fletcher and Wednesday's shooting spree.
If we come together, we will find the strength to stem this tide of violence, this flood of violence, and make our community safe.
So definitely some interesting times yesterday evening in Memphis. Sorry to hear about everything that is going on over there. That being said, it is 32 minutes past the top of the hour. I think it's time for us to do that thing that we do.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
So let's talk about this. Let's move and groove, and let's get into that world that we talk about all the time, and that's that world of safety that we tend to love so much as we do the things that we get to do around here. So I had a question for you, and really kind of wanted to have a better understanding on how things go on in life from time to time, because sometimes I just don't get the move and groove of things without people telling me exactly what is going on. So I have to tell you, I have read several books about the subject matters that we speak about here, and that is the world of safety. And I have had the honor, because it's definitely an honor, to be able to go out there and be able to interact with several different organizations and talk about what is going on in the world and the practices that we do. With that being said, I have noticed that by going out and about, there are sometimes information that consultants pass out as a way of changing safety cultures and changing safety systems that don't seem to work out, and organizations seem to call other people to follow up on what they were doing. So where am I going with this? Have you had a case where you are inside of your work environment and they are practicing a version of safety that doesn't make sense based on a consultant, based on someone else that's come in, where you go, this is not going to work? I'm just asking the question. Now, we can sit back for a moment and go, well, if you think about safety one, if you really want to give it a label, you can sit there and go, well, a lot of the stuff that was in safety one was more behavior driven than actually doing things the way that they should be done. So one can argue that point. So is that the one that defaults and comes to mind? Or do you think about some of this stuff where people have come to the organization that you work at and try to implement stuff that does not work? Now, listen, I will tell you, with knowing this information, it is also easy to take a look around and go, well, I have seen people where they'll say, well, we're only going to do this for 6 weeks before the new flavor of the week or the flavor of the month comes in on what needs to be done. So as you listen to that and think about it, what comes to mind? Is that the case that's inside of the organization that you work at? Or are you looking at it from the standpoint that that is not the case at all? Because here's the thing. It's hard to prove at the very beginning that certain things do not work, especially if people are open and receptive to doing the change inside of the organization. Sometimes some of the information that we see out there is not really based on science. It's based on pseudoscience. And the other thing that we run into also as well is sometimes some of the things that are out there are not science-driven, but they're philosophy-driven. So where do you stumble inside of your organization when you think about this? Where do you stumble in with your leadership inside of the organization with some of this information? Now, if you haven't had this problem, I am going to say Congratulations, because that is a great thing. But when you run into this issue, how are you able to change the culture? Now, here's the problem also that to think about. It's sometimes when these cultural change consultants come in, they are high dollar and high value. At least that's how the organization sees them at first. So all of a sudden, when you come to the realization that it's not working or it has not worked out, what happens then? Because it is a difficult pill to swallow when you tell somebody, let's bring someone else in and pay more monies. Think about it. Yes, and I did emphasize the monies because it is a large investment. Because here's what people tend to forget. If you bring in a consultant to speak with the people that are inside of your organization to change the culture that's inside of there, outside of actually having to pay the consultant, the amount of hours of training and cultural transformation inside of your organization have to take place. And remember, you have to break down what the cost is, the sunk cost of what you are doing throughout. Think about it. And the larger your organization, the more of an expense it is because you have to pay the people. Now, we can say expense, we can say investment. I would say investment if it is, if it comes to fruition, but if it does not give you fruits back, well, then all of a sudden it has become an expense. Now think about that today, because that's going to be one to get people moving and grooving for sure.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Pop quiz hotshot. During a heat wave, what's more important, air conditioning or air guitar?
Is it air conditioning?
Air guitar. The answer is always air guitar.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Have you ever wanted to start live streaming and were not sure how to do it? You can start live streaming up to 40 social media platforms all at one time for as little as nada. It's going to cost you your time. That is what it's going to cost. You can pre-record, you can live stream, you can do a multitude of things. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com, ONE.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety?
How
How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
Tearing the ass out of you like gas station sushi.
Back again on the Rated R Safety Show. Currently 43 minutes past the top of the hour. Yeah, this is all about you. This is by Pacific. Songs readily available on Spotify and iTunes. And you know, it's really all about you if you really think about it. Thank you to Pacific for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. And we get to talk all about you, that's for sure. So, as we go down the path and talk about it, that's what this show has always been about. It's always been all about you. Really think about it for a second. So there you go. Anyways, thanks again to Pacific for allowing us to play this here on this lovely show. Anyways, let's get into the moves and grooves of things and let's start talking a little bit more. And anyways, let me tell you real quick about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime. And that's about my friends, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. And that's where you can go if you are in need of help. They can help you prevent suicide. The Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress, prevention, and crisis resources for you and your loved ones. And the best practices for professionals inside of the United States. Find out more information. All you have to do is go to 988lifeline.org. That's 988lifeline.org. You can text the word TALK to 988 or call 988 directly off your cell phone. Potentially your new iPhone 14 coming your way. If you're so inclined to do so. With that being said, listen, this is subject matter that we always need to talk about, not sometimes, but all of the time. Listen, I know that this week people have been saying, oh, we need to talk about mental health that's coming up and all this other stuff. I think that we need more than a week. We need more than a month. We need to talk about it every day when possible. Seriously. This should not be one of these subjects where we're trying to hide in the corner talking about it. Should you air your laundry? No. But should you talk about if you're having some kind of things where you need a break due to mental health? Yes. I am all for it, and I will stand by you. Listen, also, just to make a reference to this real quick, the 1-800-273-TALK number is still available and will probably not be going away anytime soon. That way you have a version of getting a hold of them or even using the shorter version of the 988 because it will be easier for most people to remember. So keep that in mind as we are talking on this lovely Thursday. That is for sure. Anyways, let's talk real quick about some other things that are going on inside of the world. Subtracting ads. Yeah, take a listen to this. A Dutch city has become the first in the world to ban ads for meat as part of a plan to reduce greenhouse gases and fight climate change. The city of Haarlem banned advertisements in public spaces in effort to drive down meat consumption, thereby reduce carbon emissions. The Amsterdam suburb, with a population of 160,000 people, plans to enact the ban in 2024. The move is in response to recent studies that suggest global food production and consumption, particularly meats, accounts for about 1/3 of climate warming greenhouses. So if McDonald's still has a Big Mac on billboards, the years after next year, I guess there's an answer. And I guess the city will also have to change its slogan as a great place to meet. So you get it? Well, let's talk about that real quick, because that's going to be an interesting one. If you cannot actually send out advertisements for meat products, what happens to these food chains? And does chicken fall into that category? I mean, I know it's a meat product, but I'm just asking. I just want to have a better understanding of what exactly is going on, because, we need to know.
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Love findings. Yes, leaning your head to the right is the most natural way that human kiss, and there's a reason, according to a recent study. UK scientists examined 48 marriages in Bangladesh, hoping to learn more about kissing tendencies in non-Western society. Bangladeshis were chosen because they are barred from viewing kissing on TV or film, and thus aren't influenced by society factors. 2/3 of the from the couples from Bangladesh, whether they illustrated or initiated on how to actually receive a kiss, were found to turn their heads to the right while kissing. The researchers believe that it's a head tilt while kissing is part of the determined by the predominant hand, explaining why the tilt to the right is the most common. The tendency may go all the way back to the prenatal care, as babies have been observed tilting their heads to the right in the womb. I guess it depends on which cheek you want to get slapped first. I mean, I would also imagine if the person has a big honker, you don't want to be going dead straight. You have to lean one way or another. I mean, I'm just saying that, out loud, thinking about it. Anyway, then it's probably it won't come to any surprise that to women, but according to a new study, men think that they're funnier and are happier in relationships if they're led to believe that they are superior in the comedy department. The study titled, Do They Fit Together Like the Joker and Harley Quinn? Try to understand how humor fits into long-term relationships. The researchers from the University of Poland surveyed 149 heterosexual couples of the comedic aspects of their relationship, and they found that the men tell more jokes than women, and they think that they're funnier as well. The researchers concluded that a simple way to make your man happy is to let him know that his jokes are better than yours and bring him a beer. I mean, I don't know. I added that last part. But man, how crazy is that? I am willing to have discussions with you because we should be in a relationship because you think that I am funnier than you. I mean, that's kind of a crazy thing to think about, but I guess that is the way the world turns. Anyways, it is currently 50 minutes past the top of the hour. So let's go ahead and bring John Smalls in here one more time and let him tell us about the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Jerry. Dwight Eisenhower said, "Leadership is the art of getting someone else to do something you want done because he wants to do it." I love that quote. President Eisenhower was General Eisenhower before he was president. He would have known a little something about leadership. Imagine leading the American forces through World War II. Most of us will never know the pressure he would have had on his shoulders each and every day. Every decision he made would have an enormous impact on our country and the world. I'm absolutely thankful I don't have that kind of stress here. I'm pretty sure I couldn't handle it. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Always replicated, but never duplicated. Rated R Safety Show.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlessaMorgan.com. European Journal of Clinical Nutrition published a paper where they took a look at 80 obese individuals that were insulin resistant and divided them into 4 groups. The groups included diets with moderate amount of protein from animal sources, moderate amounts of protein from plant sources, high amounts of protein from animal, and high amounts of protein from plant sources. What the scientists discovered was that both groups that consumed high amounts of protein from animal and plant sources both had extreme improvement between 60 and 90% in insulin sensitivity after only 1 month. This study once again demonstrates the importance of incorporating more protein into your diet and how much this can help with improving biomarkers and body's ability to handle insulin. For more information, check out AlessaMorgan.com.
Tearing the ass out of you like gas station sushi.
Okay, there you go. All kinds of stuff going on inside of this world of ours as we are speaking. I'm not even sure what the hell just happened there. So anyways, there you go. A lot of stuff as we are talking. Currently 53 minutes past top of the hour. Anyways, at the top of the hour, I will be going over to radiobig.fm if you want to come out and hang out and do all the fun stuff that we get to do over there on that side of the equation. Because, hey, that's what we do. We do different things inside of what is going on. Anyways, no winner for Tuesday night's Mega Million drawing. Friday night's drawing will be for $210 million jackpot or a $114 million cash payout. So there you go. There you go. Some things to think about as we are talking. With that being said, what else is going on? Let's take a look real quick on some things that happened back on this date. And if I'm taking a look around, let's go into some baseball stuff just for the sake of doing so. In 1998, Mark McGwire slugs his 62nd home run, breaking the record made by New York Yankee Roger Maris back in 1961. Since then, McGwire has been lambasted for using performance-enhancing drugs to assist him through the feet. Later in the season, Chicago Cubs Sammy Sosa also beat the record, finishing with 66 home runs. But McGwire wasn't done. He finished the season with 70 home runs. Barry Bonds broke both records in 2001, nailing 73 homers. The first slugger to surpass 60 home runs in the season was Babe Ruth back in 1927. So there you go. If you play the game, I guess it's a way to take a look at it. Anyways, if you're looking at some birthdays for today, I got some of those for you real quick. Deja Kelly turns 21. Simper Capri turns 24. Bruno Fernandez, 28. Wiz Khalifa, 35. Jonathan Taylor from Home Improvement, 41. Slim Thug, 42. Pink turns 43 today. David Arquette, 51. Martin Freeman, 51. Big Boy DJ turns 53. Ruby Bridges turns 68. And Bernie Sanders turns 81 today. So there you go if you're looking at some birthdays that are going on. If you're looking at some days to celebrate, I have some of those for you as well. National Ampersand Day and National Pediatric Oncology Nurses Day. So I guess that's some interesting days to take a look and a gander at as we are talking. That is for sure. Let's talk about Did You Know? I'll run in with the law apparently isn't a career killer once it once was. According to researchers from Harvard Business School, researchers say that there is a report that many American employers are willing to consider and hire applicants with criminal records. An analyst found that 39% of businesses are willing to hire someone with a criminal background. Meanwhile, 45% of businesses are open to hiring such employees for jobs that don't involve direct interaction with customers. I know my insurance company is run by criminals, so there you go. That's something to think about. Anyways, when you start thinking about that, are you open to hiring someone with a criminal background, but would you be open to having someone who has a criminal background, but then all of a sudden, they or don't have a criminal background, but all of a sudden, something happens where they end up having a encounter with the law? Then what happens there? Maybe that's something to think about. Anyways, take a listen to this. A major poll of Americans see MAGA movement as a threat to democracy. So take a listen to this by Mark Mayfield.
A new Reuters Ipsos poll was conducted after President Biden gave a speech calling Trump and his allies a threat to the country. The new poll found 58% of respondents believe Trump's Make America Great Again movement was threatening the democratic foundations of the U.S., and that includes 1 in 4 Republicans. And while Trump is still popular in the GOP, the new poll found that 60% of Republicans don't think Trump's MAGA movement represents a majority of the party. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Okay, thank you, Mark Mayfield, for that information right there as we are talking. Take a listen to this. Some Florida lawmakers are raising serious concerns about the national security implications of former President Donald Trump storing classified documents in his Florida estate. NBC's Bree Jackson has more on the Washington Post reports revealing the highly sensitive nature of some of the material.
According to the Post, but not confirmed by NBC News, items included a document describing a foreign government's military defenses, including its nuclear capabilities.
Trump's former acting defense secretary, Mark Esper, is criticizing the situation for ever happening. There is also concerns of exposing such information like secret operating and foreign government nuclear capacities could jeopardize the trust of allies in the U.S. The Director of National Intelligence is moving forward with damage assessments to figure out the potential risk of national security as Democrats voice alarm over Trump storing classified information. Top Republicans are slamming the FBI search, and they call the leaks of the Justice Department investigation. The DOJ has until Friday to appeal the federal judge ruling to allow independent third party to review the documents seized. Mark Esper's former defense secretary in the Trump administration is criticizing former President Trump for storing highly sensitive material.
Over a period of months, 300 classified documents found at Mar-a-Lago, and that simply should have never happened in the first place.
Former CIA Walder says the concerns of exposure of foreign government military and nuclear information could jeopardize the trust with the allies.
I don't blame them for not trusting us to hold on to their nuclear secrets or human secrets, carefully.
So there you go. Some interesting stuff there. Anyways, real quick, if you need a random joke for today, every pizza is a personal pizza if you try hard and believe in yourself. Yeah, think about that. If you need a phone starter, what could movie theaters do to improve the experience of going there? If you need a question for the water cooler, try this. According to a survey, this is the number one thing in your home that we have too many of. What is it? Clothes hangers. Not in my household, that's for sure. Anyways, that's going to sum up our time together. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate the time. I'm going to be going over to radiobig.fm for the next couple hours if you want to come over and hang out and do the things that we get to do over there. All you have to do is go to radiobig.fm, or you can stay right here on Safety FM and keep it locked on the things that are going on. If I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Home is not where you live, but where the people understand you. Anyways, thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because without you, we couldn't do what we do around here. That is for sure. I know who you are. Duh. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.